Good afternoon. Tom Johnson, along with our mayor, Alex Rounaghi. Alex, very good to see you again.
Great to see you, Tom.
We're with a little fair game, Laguna Beach, but we're kind of expanding our borders today.
We
We've got a
are.
group of people here. We're going to get to everybody, but first and foremost, Alex, it's been quite a week. If anybody that watched Tuesday night, the election returns come back. It seems like this world, there's Democrats on one side and Republicans on the other side, and never the two shall meet and talk and everything like that. And yet, here we're going to have a nice conversation today. And we have not only yourself, but we have Newport Beach Mayor Joe Stapleton, a longtime friend of mine, and I know a longtime friend of yours, Alex. But we're going to talk a little bit about water today. But nice to have Joe here.
No, it's a pleasure to be here, my Laguna Beach brothers.
You and
Exactly.
Alex have a you and Alex have a pretty strong relationship as far as being adjoining mayors.
Yeah, I mean, I thought I was something, Tom, when I came in at 40 years old as the mayor of Newport Beach, and then they're like, "Yeah, but you know Alex at 27 in Laguna." I was like, "Well, there we go."
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
the funniest thing about that, and I know we're kind of short on time and everything, but one of the complaints I got when people wrote in and everything like that is that Alex's brain wasn't fully developed yet at the young age he was at.
Which was true.
And Alex is for anybody that's been around Alex, he's a very bright guy and really knows what he's doing, much like you, Joe. So it's good to have you both here.
Yeah,
We're going to talk about some water. I mean, there's something big happening for both communities. Alex, why don't you jump into it
absolutely.
and kind of tell us why we're all here today, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, so, as you know, Tom, and I talk about this all the time, Laguna Beach, we are approaching our 100-year anniversary as a city in 2027. And over my almost 3 years in office, what I've really come to appreciate is that government can only do a few things very well, and if we don't do them well, it's disastrous consequences. Public safety, infrastructure, efficient government services, and water is really core to that. Because my brothers will make fun of me for this, but I always say, what's more important than water? Because there really is nothing more important than water. Because I'm always talking about water issues, and I think what we often don't appreciate is how precarious our potential water supply can be if we're not making necessary investments. So in Laguna Beach, the city council is the board of directors for the Laguna Beach County Water District. And 100 years ago, in 1925, a group of Laguna Beach residents pretended to be duck hunters, and because in you can't have a city without water supply, and we don't have groundwater under us. And so, in what they did is they went to Huntington Beach. They pretended to be duck hunters instead of actually, they might have hunted ducks. I don't know, but what they were doing was purchasing land, which would allow us to access the groundwater basin. And that's literally what created the city of Laguna Beach. In the 1940s, the seawater breached that, and so we went to imported water from metropolitan. And so since then, we've been reliant for the most part, and currently on 100% imported water from the Colorado River and Northern California Water Project. And the good thing about water rights in California is once you have a right to it, it doesn't go away. And so we have rights to have two-thirds of our water supply come from the groundwater basin. And that's sort of, what this week is a big week in that saga of how we're building a well and where we brought Newport in. So, we have our general manager, uh, Keith Vandermatt, and we've been at the Water District, we've been laser focused. How do we actually exercise these rights? So we were looking for land in the groundwater basin, and we in 2024 we purchased land in Fountain Valley to build a well. And since then, we've put together a partnership with the city of Newport Beach, and Mayor Stapleton and I have been part of that ad hoc committee along with council members Kempf and Kleiman, and we've negotiated a deal. And last night was a huge deal because we were able to actually get the approvals from Fountain Valley, and so we have a signing ceremony on Thursday.
And Joe, why don't you bring us up to date on where Newport Beach fits into all of this and why it's good for Newport Beach?
Well, Tom and Alex, Mayor Rounaghi, thank you guys for having me today. What a great opportunity to continue to talk about this wonderful partnership between Newport Beach and Laguna Beach when two sides can come together and work for common good. I mean, it wasn't that long ago that Newport Beach was 100% water independent on groundwater back in, the 1950s. And then shortly after that, we were essentially completely dependent on the Colorado River and outside sources. And now, thanks to work by our one of our director of utilities, the director of utilities, Mark Vukojevic, who's on with us today, we are 85% water independent with the watershed, the underground water program through the Orange County Department. And I'm just so proud of what we're doing. Alex Rounaghi came to me with his team. We got our team together, and it was a brilliant move. We've already got pipes in the ground in Fountain Valley. We got approval last night at their council meeting to tap into the 2 well sites we already have. This will be our 3rd well site. We'll go from 85% to 100%. And it was a great vision by Mayor Rounaghi and his part to get his community up to some kind of water independence and reliability. And now to get Newport Beach to 100% water independence has just been it's been a wonderful thing to see.
Best thing about this call so far, Mayor Rounaghi was talking a few minutes ago, and he said, "There's nothing more important in a community than water." And Mark had a smile come on his face as big as you can imagine, because obviously, Mark, you're smack dab in the middle of this.
Yes.
Why don't you tell us what it means to you and your role in Newport Beach, and what it means to the community?
Thanks, Tom. Thanks. Well, yeah, yeah, I didn't even realize that, but I guess I did smile. I mean, I love talking about water, and it's my world of what we're doing here too. And water folks a lot of times talk about reliability and these different conceptual things, but here it's like a real practical thing of like, how do we find the water and how do we get it to our pipes and into our system? And so Laguna taking this effort to buy this property and then making this partnership where we can do a 50-50 deal and we can both invest in here. And then we brought in Fountain Valley as the partner because they're the host agency over there too. And so this is exciting. We're going to drill 2 wells out there too. And then this is going to bring us for more water independence and give Laguna, their share of water as well too. I mean, it's Orange County, or this part of Orange County, is like nothing else too. Like with our groundwater basin too, and the way they recycle the water, it has the largest groundwater recycling program in the world. Right? It's light years ahead of all of these other agencies, and we're very lucky. And I consider us to be investors. We've been paying for the system into the system, so now it's time to make sure we keep getting the fruit of our investments there too. So it's great for Newport. This is, I think, going to build this legacy project again, more reliability in the water world too. There's 3 concepts that are always being talked about. Do you look at water as a scarce item, as an adequate item, or as an abundant item? And our model is we want to promote abundance. We don't want to waste. We don't want to cause waste, but we want to have things where it's totally available and abundant for our use. That's such an important concept, as opposed to this fear of, oh my gosh, we don't have enough water. Our job is to deliver water. That's what I like doing.
So,
Well
Keith,
said.
from your standpoint, there had to be some concern looking out on the long haul, when you're dependent on somebody else and change can happen and everything like that. So when this opportunity came about and you and Alex started talking about it and the rest of the council and things like that, take us through that and take us also through what it means to Laguna Beach.
Yeah, thank you, Tom. I guess first and foremost, I think it's great to have, the support and leadership of our board president and Mayor Rounaghi and the entire board. And I can say the team is amazing over there at Newport Beach, working with Mark and their city council. So I just want to start out and say that's just been wonderful. And that's an initial first step that you need all that support to even get this thing going. It's interesting that we're kind of promoting water because my aim is really try to get people not to think about water at all. I mean, that's really what I want to do. I want to make it so that you don't think about it when you pay your bills. You don't think about it in your day-to-day. You don't think about it during an emergency. You don't think about it after emergency. Mark had touched about this, but my aim is to provide that freedom from worry. And so that's really what we started out with. I want people to live their lives without having to worry about this most essential thing is water. You get to worry about other things, but not water. So that really manifests itself first and foremost in our reliability of our supply. So yes, we've come full circle. We started back in the 20s, but I think most of this current effort started in 2016. We really started to, that was when we first signed an agreement with Newport Beach for interruptible groundwater. We had our groundwater rights established, but it didn't bring the horse across the finish line to really make meaningful water reliability because the agreement was interruptible. So it was only available if the water was available. And when I started here in 2021, and we were already starting to see some of the cracks. And actually started work with Mark even then. So, I mean, we've been at this for a while. And I know we're celebrating this recent agreement, and it should be celebrated. But I don't know if there's knowledge of the fact that Mark and I have really been turning over every stone, looking at every option for the last 5 years. And it wasn't until last year when this property came up and Mark had first found it and mentioned it to me. And it really was the catalyst that really said, okay, I think we found something that's going to work. And it's just been, again, just a great partnership because, Mark and I, and working with our boards and city councils, are able to kind of like take this and go with it and work through originally an MOU, which I think it was a pretty easy process. I mean, different governments don't always work together so easily, but I can tell you, because I think we're true government service oriented, care about our customers, it was easy to come up with agreements that made sense. And from there, we just kept working at it, and Mark has really done a lion's share of the work to get Fountain Valley on board. I think we should all be proud of the fact that this is really a win-win-win. When you look at what Fountain Valley got out of this as well, I mean, their staff was amazing in collaborating and making sure that they shepherded it forward, but their city council made sure that it also made sense for their community. So there's huge community benefit. So when you look across all three agencies, this has just been a great example of how it should go. I think a lot of things fell into place, but I think oftentimes you recognize those opportunities when they're there and you take advantage of the fact that it's available to you. And I think that's what we've seen here. So this means a whole bunch to us. Having local water supply reliability, we're also looking at Doheny desal, and together with this project and that one, we are hopeful that we can be 100% local water supply and highly reliable. But this is really the big part of that plan, getting this well, getting 2/3 of our water supply. And yeah, I just feel fortunate to be on the team with all the individuals here and others that aren't on this call.
Well, that's great. It's almost unfathomable. The years kind of run together, but it seems like in the not too recent past, we had the news of, people in or near Detroit were turning on their water and bad water was coming out and they didn't have drinkable, stuff. And to imagine that in the United States of America, it is almost unbelievable. But it does take foresight. And
Yes.
and as you said, Alex, this goes back 100 years. Somebody take me through, and I don't know who the best person to ask this is, but take me through where this water is, where we're going to go to get it, and how that land came about.
So maybe explaining what the groundwater basin is and
Yeah, but where actually is this?
Well, Mark, why don't you just talk about, we have 2 well sites now. This will be a 3rd well site. This one's in partnership with Laguna Beach property they bought that we're going 50-50 on, getting the groundwater, their recycling situation that happens with the groundwater, so it's constantly replenished. Go through that.
Yeah. So big picture, Santa Ana River. Underneath the Santa Ana River is this huge swimming pool of groundwater.
Your swimming pool.
Yeah, it's trapped by the Newport Inlet.
Underground though, Tom.
Underground. Yeah.
Bad joke. Okay, go ahead. Sorry, Mark.
Yeah. So we have our wells, they're up by 405 freeway in Slater and Berkhurst, Slater, Magnolia area. And so we have a pipeline that goes 7 miles from Fountain Valley to Newport Beach. And so now this new well site is really close to our existing pipeline. That's the key too, is finding a spot where it's close to your own pipeline infrastructure and has groundwater there. So So that's how it goes. And then from here, from Fountain Valley, we pump it all the way down 7 miles down to our facility here in West Newport. And then from West Newport, we pump it all the way across town to Big Canyon Reservoir. And then from Big Canyon Reservoir, it actually gravity flows over to Laguna Beach through a big 30-inch pipeline over to Laguna Beach. So yeah, it's got a series of moves, but it's still really there. Yeah.
And we're celebrating this all tomorrow, correct, Joe and Alex?
Yeah, when this comes out, it'll be the agreements will be signed Thursday morning at
All right,
Crystal
yeah.
Cove, which is the border between our cities, essentially. We are signing this agreement thanks to the approval of Fountain Valley on Tuesday in a very late night council meeting. And yeah, and Tom, I just want to, Mark and I, Joe was doing his paddle from Catalina, so he had a good excuse not to come on this trip. But we did a Metropolitan Water District inspection trip. And you talk about vision and foresight. The California water system was built on visionary, for thinking ahead for the future, where I think it took Mark, was it 8 years to build the Colorado River Aqueduct?
Yeah.
And I mean, today that's how long the sequel process would take. You talked about the Hoover Dam and all that. And that was really an example of visionary leadership at the time. But you look at recent years in Metropolitan, where right now rates are going up significant amounts, and they're only going to go up more because in the last, we heard a stat from one of the directors who said that if you look at the value of the metropolitan infrastructure, they spend less than half of 1% into investing in that infrastructure and improving it. So if you assume 100-year life cycle, which is an ambitious thing to assume, you need to be at 1%. So water rates in California are going to go up significantly for people dependent on imported water supply. And that's not even counting the fact that from an earthquake perspective, from a resiliency perspective, they are not, California and Metropolitan has not made the necessary investments. So what we're doing here and what Newport is by expanding to 100% is having independence where we don't have to be dependent on a group of political people in Los Angeles from the Metropolitan Board who have done a horrible job of making those investments, and we're making the investments here. I think that's sort of an important part of this whole story because you could say, oh, why not just keep it as is? The status quo is really not what the future will be like. There will be more rate increases and more unreliability as a result of the lack of investment.
Well, Mark and Keith, I give you a lot of credit. It's your job, but I give you a lot of credit. I mean, you guys are focused on, water and that. But Joe and Alex, I really want to tell you that, when we tell these stories about 100 years ago or whatever, both of you need to be commended for bringing this thing across the finish line because it's your vision that someday, after I'm long gone, but maybe all of us are long gone, they'll be telling stories about, well, tell us how we have this water supply that nobody else around has in California, and we're so fortunate. But you guys have really created a legacy project here through everybody's hard work, and I commend you all for that. Joe, anything I'm missing?
No, I just think I think when you talk about vision, you talk about leadership. I mean, congrats to Mayor Rounaghi for finding an opportunity with this team, with Keith and the others. And since we were already there, we already got the pipes laid in. We got the 7 miles of pipes that run under Fountain Valley, Costa Mesa, Huntington Beach, right to our back door here in Newport Beach. It's an incredible thing that we got done generations ago, and now we have it today, and we're able to work together and partner together. And I'm just so excited to get this going, and be 100% water independent. It's if my only hope is that other communities can see this as an opportunity and can embrace the vision as well. And we're all going to be both communities are going to be winners, including Fountain Valley when this gets done.
Great. Alex, you have the final word to close it off.
I think this is government at its best, and we should always be collaborating with different entities and figuring out how we can deliver on behalf of our residents. So I'm very proud to know Mayor Stapleton and be a friend, and we've been the mayor, both been mayors during this year, and I'm very proud of the work that both of our communities have done as we look towards not just the next 1 year, 5 years, but really 100 years. Because I think that's what visionary that's what the kind of leadership that we need is people thinking about what the future is going to look like and making those investments. And
And the only thing I would add, Tom, is you got to give credit to the staff as well. I mean,
Yes.
Mayor Rounaghi and I can do all we can to be
Oh yeah.
the visionaries and the front runners, but the reality is, without our world-class team behind
Well
us,
said.
that can, I mean, Mark was at the council meeting in Fountain Valley last night till 11 o'clock or midnight. But our team with Keith and everyone else on Laguna
Yes.
and the Newport Beach side, we are so blessed to have two world-class teams that are working together for a common good.
Now I know Mark has like 35 kids at home. Do both cities go in and pay for the babysitting and everything to when he has to stay out that late?
They're all on
Get
autopilot.
back to me how that later
Autopilot.
works. Anyway,
It's determined the
no,
MOU, yes.
yeah, okay. So you know what? We're fortunate also in that both cities we have great benches. So we will have great mayors coming behind you. But both of you have done such a great job. Alex and I are kind of winding down this year together. This has been a special podcast, and we appreciate everybody taking the time to come here. Alex, I'll see you next week. Thank you all.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Tom.